Okay, now just a quick one. In our last event, we had two winners for our LinkedIn voucher. One was Trofena, and the other guy, I told him to DM me. He didn't send any DM. The guy who participated during our last event, that was, he had the name Drizzler or Reina. He didn't contact me, and so I passed the voucher to someone else. So if you are here and you are amongst the winners of our LinkedIn voucher last time, ensure that you DM me so that when we have the new voucher released, I consider you for your LinkedIn voucher. And before we start, we have a chance of winning vouchers through participation, asking questions, answering questions. And as usual in my sessions, I'm not the one who do all the talking. If you feel like you want to add something on top of what I'm saying or what I failed to mention, you feel free to interrupt me and let's have it on. So just a recap of what we did last time. Last time we talked about a number of things. And remember, this was our first session that we had. And then we had our second session here where we introduced JavaScript variables, arrays and objects, constants, inbuilt constants, multiple functions, comments, how to work with the console. Remember, we realized that console is not more of just console.log. There is more to it, like console.error, console.warn, information, debug, end time, timestamps, and a lot more. And then we also talked about Java data types in JavaScript. We talked briefly on strings, and then we talked, we winded it up with the questions and answers. And then we went through everything here, and it was an amazing session. The recording is live on the YouTube channel. Just in case you missed our previous session, you can maybe find a time after the meeting to go check it out. It was some amazing recording. Also, what we need to do today, we need to have our third session of JavaScript. And today, we are supposed to tackle, let me just check it out so that I can tell you what we expect to tackle today. We need to talk about arithmetic operations. Arithmetic operations. We need to talk about comparisons. We need to talk about loops. What else do we need to talk about? Let me check. We were supposed to talk about dates. We're supposed to talk about arrays. Let me disable my copilot. Fantastic. We're supposed to talk about objects. Now, as I was preparing for this meeting, I checked on objects, arrays, dates, loops, comparisons, arithmetic operations, and I realized loops alone, comparisons, and arithmetic operations alone can take us 2 hours to do this. So today we're going to handle loops, comparisons, arithmetic operations, and then in our next meetup, we'll tackle dates, arrays, and objects. Because why? This is because, as you know, I always try to exhaust all the possible scenarios on a topic, be it objects, arrays, and dates. And for us who have been fortunate enough to have interacted with objects, arrays, and dates, you can tell that it's a lot, there's a lot more under those topics. And so this one, we are going to preserve for our fourth session. Also, to make it clear, in our fourth session, once we discuss dates, arrays, objects, I want us to, on the same day, that is Saturday next week, we want to combine it with functions and classes. So that when we now start our fifth session here, if you are fortunate enough to have touched React, to have touched Vue, to have touched especially React and Vue, or any front-end framework, you realize that we work with arrays a lot more, loops, and dates, right? Also functions, especially if you are React dev, we have functional components that you'll be using in building your components for your website. Now, next Saturday, if we tackle for the first session where we tackle arrays, objects, functions, and classes, then expect us that in the fifth session here, we will do an intro to front-end frameworks. front-end frameworks. Intro to front-end frameworks should take us maybe 3 sessions for the front-end frameworks, and then after which we'll go to back-end frameworks, where we'll focus specifically on Node.js, which is a runtime environment that allows you to write JavaScript code on the server. And we will focus on its framework, which is Express, the most popular Node.js framework for the backend. So you see that you don't want to miss our upcoming sessions, because now being a developer starts here on our 5th session. So hopefully, let's pray that in our 4th session, that is next Saturday, we will be able to tackle all this. Then we start getting our hands dirty, building projects using frameworks. And at this point, we will have our own repository where everyone will be able to contribute. We will build collaboratively. We will be able to review our codes in our sessions to see, like, are we making progress? Are we learning? Yeah, so that's it for today. And so let's get in and start. So to start, let's start with arithmetic operations. These are some concepts that we won't spend a lot of time here. Why? These are one of those concepts that you can learn by yourself and understand. Yeah, so we won't spend much time here. And here, I want us to look at a few operations: additions, the plus, subtractions, the minus, multiplication, the asterisk. We want to look at the modulus, that is the percentage. We want to look at what else? We have increment operations, where we have the plus plus. We also want to look at what we call the decrement operations. From here, we're also going to look at compound operators. Okay, so that is what we want to look at real quick, starting right now. So addition is simple. Add 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 plus 3 is 3. But then we have scenarios where you want to be really keen. And also, before I forget, I want us to also check at a few mathematics methods, the math class, where we have things like the power, we have the square root, we have the cube root. What else do we have under the power? Under the math, we have random. What else do we have? We can have the round, the ceiling, the floor. We can have the round. I think that is pretty much about it. Yes. So let's start with addition. So if I have a variable, let a equals to 6, and then let b equals to 4, then I want to find the sum. Let's say let sum also. Then if I want to find the sum, I can now sum equals to a plus b. So what does sum do, or the addition operator? It simply takes a number and adds it to a number. Someone please mute. Someone is having his mic open. Please mute. Mute, or I help you mute. Let me check. Let me help you mute. Labwes, please mute. Thank you. Yeah, so addition is more of just summing up numbers. So we have 6 plus 4 equals to, will give us a number like 10. So how do we do that? How we do that is we can log to our console and find sum. So remember, our way of running our node just file is node space, then we watch for our changes, and then the name of the script session 3.js. So that is what we have there. So a sum simply takes the value of its operands and then sums them or adds them. 6 plus 4, you get that. And then also we can do another thing. Let's say we have, let's C equals to 1, right? So let's find the sum when we add sum equals to A plus B. Instead of A plus B, let's have A plus C. What do we get? 61. So here we have 6 plus 1. And in our last meeting, what did we find out? We found out that when you take an int or a number, add it to a string, what you get is that it takes that int or that number and then concatenates it with that string to get a 61. So that is why we have a 61 here. So what if we have sum equals to A plus C plus B? What do we get? 614. So 614, why? It's because 6 is A, that is 6, plus 1 is a string, 1. That will give us 61, which now is a string, right? Now, if you get that string, add it to our new number, we still get a string, which is 614. So we can do something. Let's get a type of our sum. And then I can just console log that. Then have all this one inside the log. So you see it's a string. So what happens? Each time we are doing an operation of addition and we involve strings, our end result or what is returned will be a string. You can do that simply. Let's have a function. Function add number and string. So we'll have like 3 parameters, A, B, C. Then we will say let's sum equals to A plus B plus C. Then we want to log the sum. So that is our function definition. And then now we want to do a function, invoke that function or call that function. We simply type the name of the function, and then now we pass the arguments. In this case, we have a 10 as our value for A, we have 45 value for B, and then we have omolo value for B. So let's see what we get. What do we get? We get 55 omolo. How do you explain that? First, it checks 10. 10 is a number. 45 is a number. 10 plus 45 is 55. But then going forward, in the next operand is a string. We encounter a string. And therefore, it will be 55 omolo. You understand? That is how addition works. Also, let's go to something else. Subtraction. Subtraction, it simply takes the values of the operands, the first operand, and then subtract the second operand from the first operand. So let's say we have let's num1 equals to 563. Then let's num2 equals to 63 itself. Then we want to say our difference, let difference equals to num1 minus num2. After doing that, we want to maybe log the value of the difference. Exactly. You see what happens? Now it simply takes the second operand, which is 63, and then subtracts it from our first operand, which is 563. So 563 minus 63 is 500, and we have that in the console right here. Now let's try interchanging these values. Now instead of having the first operand as num1, let's give it as num2. And then this should be num1. So what do we get? It's like saying 63 minus 563, that will give us negative 500, which is correct. That is what we expect. Now, let's introduce another variable. Let's operand 3 be equals to omolo still. And then what I want to do the operation of num2 minus operand 3. Let's see what we get when we try to console log the difference. Fantastic. Now, let's take note here. In the first addition, in the first operation of arithmetics, we using addition. And addition, you see, we can actually add a string to a number without any problem because it simply does what? Concatenation. It takes that number plus the string. For example, we had 55 omolo. How did we get that? Because we had 10 plus 45. These are numbers. 55 plus omolo. It concatenates them to give us 55 omolo. But we've tried this with subtraction. Let's come down here with subtraction. So in subtraction, when we take, we do an operation of subtraction between a number and a string, we get NaN. NaN means what? We discussed this last time, not a number, right? Which means you can perform a subtraction between a string and a number. Let's do something. Let's have, instead of omolo, let's have 1. What do we get? 62. Now you see, it's fun. Now we have a string of 1, right? But we had another string of omolo. Omolo was giving us not a number, but a 1 string is giving us 62, which is, of course, I know you expected like not a number, but somehow it will treat this as a 1. So let's do something here. I want us to do, let's still have that there. Console.log. Not really there. I want us to learn something here. Okay, fantastic. So tokenize our code. Let's call it break here. Fantastic. So we'll have something down here. So let's see. Type of diff. Then, of course, it should be logged for us to see then the type that we get, Control X. Then paste it there. You see what we get? Console log type of difference. So type of is an inbuilt JavaScript method that helps us tell the data type of a variable or anything else. So if we take, for example, a number, which is 63, minus a string of 1. Remember, 1 itself is a number, but when we stringify it, like adding the quote in between, JavaScript will treat it as a number. So we get 63 minus 1 to give us 62. Okay. So what if we have also 62 as a string? What do we get? We still get 62. 63 minus 1 is 62. But the moment we introduce something like 1s, what happens? We get not a number. But because num2, also num2 here, minus operation 3, let's get num2. 63 minus operation 3, 63 minus 1s. What do you expect to get? I'll console log. I'll comment out everything up here. Just in it. Addition was done long time ago. Console log done. That is done. Yes. Now we are here. We have subtraction. Num1 63, num2 63. Then we have operand 3, which is 1s. Let's call it 1 shilling. So coming down, we have a diff, which should do num2 minus operation 3. So when we take that, what do we get? It's the console log to find the type of this operation here. We get it's a number, but the actual number, the actual result return is not a number because there's no way in which 63 is going to subtract 1 shilling. But if it's only 1 only, it treats it as a number. That you get 62. Now that is a difference that you need to take care when working with strings as numbers in JavaScript. It's a operation between a string number, and a number will give you a number. Operation of a number and a string in addition will give you a string. So that should be taken a good note of. So after addition, we want to look into something else, that is what we call division. Division is simply finding the quotient, or you divide a number by a number. So I'll just comment out what you have there to make our console clean. So let A equals to 25, and then let B equals to 3. Then let division div equals to A divided by B. Then what we want to do, we want to log div. Let's see what happens. What do we get? We get an 8.3333. Fantastic. Also, let's take, let A to be 25.0.2. And then we have this one to be 3.1. What do we get? We get an 8 and a big floating value there. So a division will give you, in JavaScript, it will give you the exact value that you get when you perform such kind of an operation, okay? And then now we have something that we call modulus. Or maybe you want us to maybe also try using a string. Let's see. What do we get? Still the same. It still treats this now as a number. If I also take 25.2, change it to a string, we still get the exact thing. Fantastic. So I'll undo that. That is more of division. After division, let's talk about what we call modulus. Modulus is straightforward. Modulus will give us the remainder when operation of division is done between operands. So in this case, let's say our let mod equals to value of A divided, modulus value of B. Then we want to log our value of log of mod. What do we get? We get 0.3. Is it okay? 0.3999999. Yeah, that's okay. Because we are working here with floats. But now to make it more clear for you to understand, let me remove the floating parts. Now we have 25 divided by 3. What is the modulus of that? It's 1. Why? Because 25 and 3 goes on 25 how many times? 8 times, which is 24. And what do we have left? Is 1. What if we reverse B and then have A? So it's like saying 3 divided by 25. 25 can never go into 3, right? So we still have 3 left. And that is why we have 3 right there. Now, I want us to move to something that we now call incrementing and decrementing. Increments and decrements. Now, when we go to increments and decrements, if you have worked with what we call loops, let's say a for loop, there's a block where you say let I equals to 0. Let me just do that. For let's I equals to 0. Then you can say I is less than or equals to 12. Then we have I plus plus. Then you open the block and you will say something like, I want you to log for me the value of I. Fantastic. So you have been using this I plus plus here. So this is what we actually call the increment operator or the decrement operator. So under the increment operators and decrement operators, we have other 2 types, like they're split again into 2, where we have postfix, or do we call it postfix or prefix? Now, postfix comes after it's been used. Then prefix, we first use it, then we log it. So let's look at a good example here. But that's not the point. The point is, we'll come to hear this when we come to loops. So the point is, let's say I have let's use x equals to 5. Let y equals to x plus plus. Then log the value of y. A quick one from everyone in the room. What is the value of y that you expect? Just a quick one. What is the value of y? What do you expect to be the value of y? Anyone? Five. Farah says 5. Daffy says 6. Do you have any something different? Of course, that's what we expect. So we have 5 and 6. So let's verify that. So let's log the value of y. What do we get? We get a 5. We're coming to explain that. So let me just comment out what's up here to make our console clean. So we have 5. Fantastic. Then we have let s equals to 3. And then let d equals to plus plus s. Then let's log the value of d. Sorry. Okay. Let's log the value of d. What do we get? A 4. So what is the difference here? What happens here? I'll make it clear again. Let's go ahead and do something here. Just hang on with me. Let z equals to y plus 1. And then here, let's have let f equals to d plus 1. And then I want us to also log the value of f. Up here, I want us to also log the value of z. Value of z. Just a minute. We want to make this clear so that you can understand why we are doing that. Let's say value of y. And then we also have value of, let me copy that, just paste it here. Value of d. Let's also have it same thing here. Value of f. Amazing. So let's evaluate what happens here. So at first we have x equals to 5. And then we have y, which uses x, and then it increments that. You see what happens? Listen to how I explain it. We have x equals to 5. Then we have y, which uses the value of x and increments it. Okay? So what happens? When we come to say console the log, the value of y, what happens? It first uses it. That's why we print a 5. Okay? Then coming to the value of z, we now have the 5 plus 1, which is 6. Coming down to this second variation here, let s equals to 3. And then let d equals to, first we get a prefix increment plus x. Okay, so it checks. We are referring to s. S is 3. But before I use it, I first need to increment that. Okay, so it takes 3, then adds 1, we get a 4. That is why we get the value of d to be a 4. Before using it, it first increments. I hope we understand this. Before using it, it first increments. And then coming down, f equals to d plus 1. Now it's the 4 plus 1 to give us a 5. Now what we need to know here, we have the post increment, which is plus plus. And then we have pre. Now post is something that happens after. We have pre, something which happens before. So before you increment this value, please first show me x. That is why we still get a 5. And if coming to the prefix, it simply tells it, please first increment me before you use me. That is why we get a 4. It encounters an increment, and then it does that, increments it from 3 to 4, and then it can now use it as a 4. That's why if we get 4 plus 1, we get a 5. This is somehow confusing. So is anyone here having a question or clarification for us to get to understand prefix and postfix incrementation or decrementation? Anyone who needs a clarification on that? On the chats, please. Any clarification you need on increment and decrement using postfix and prefix? So we are all okay. Fantastic. So coming back, let's do the decrement. More the same thing. So we have 5. Let's say instead of plus plus, let's have a minus minus. And then also we can just do a minus here. Everything will be minus now because we're just working with the decrementation. So minus minus. Coming to F, we can also do minus. It's a minus. Okay, so let's evaluate. Let x equals to 5. Okay, then let y equals to x minus minus. The same thing. We first encounter x. So we're going to use x first. So our x is 5. Now y will be 5. So look, we have y, which refers to 5 beforehand, before you decrement it. So in short, please use x before you decrementing it. That's why we have the value of y printed to be 5. And then we can now decrement it, 5 minus 1 to give us a 4. Coming down to the other variation, we get an s equals to 3. Then we get a prefix decrement. Simply means, hey, before using me, first decrease me or take something from me. So it's 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. That is what we now assign to d. D will be 2. And of course, 2 minus 1 is a 1. So hopefully we've tackled that. And so increment, decrement is done. So this is decrement 2. Next, let's talk about compound operators. So what you see here, it's like, let's say, let's have something else. I'll comment out what we've already done and understood. So let's talk about compound operators. Compound operators is where we have something like plus minus, minus plus, no, not minus plus, but no, it's plus equals to, we have minus equals to, we have times equals to. Let's explain that. Let A equals to 5. And then let B equals to A plus 6. Let's log the value of B. Logging the value of B, we get 11, right? Fantastic. So what happens here, what we're basically doing is we are simply taking the value of A and adding 6. So it's like to say B equals to 5 plus 6, right? So what if we have something like, let C equals to plus equals to, how do we put this? I'm getting confused a little bit. Wait, C plus equals to, wait a minute. I'm getting confused a little bit. Someone remind me, how do we outline this using the compound apparatus? Where, for example, instead of having like B equals to A plus 6, we have something like B equals to plus equals to A something. Anyone in the chats? We have Labwest saying, let's clarify that. Okay, there's no one. Okay, let me fix that real quick. Margaret, fantastic. Yes, Margaret, please unmute, take it over.
Okay, I think that applies when you're having maybe when you want to increment that variable by, let's say, maybe I want to do b plus my b is 5, and then I want to add like let's say 10 to it. So instead of b is equals to b plus 10, I'll just have b plus equals to 10, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. So let's do that practically. Yeah, so we have, remember what we are doing here is compound operators. So we want to, we have let a equals to 5. And then we want to like add a certain value to, let's say, to a, for example, 6. So how do we do that? So let a is equal to 5, and then we can just come and say a plus equals to 6. Then let's log the value of a. What do we get? 11. So it's like to say a equals to a plus 6. In fact, let me give it a different value. Let's say d. D equals to a plus 6, or still a. And then let me just remove this. What do we get? 11. So what we're doing here, if we take let a equals to 5, but I come in later and I'm like, no, I need to add some value to a to make it 11 or to make it 65. So I will do something like this. Because we're doing a let, it means we can reassign a value to that. I'm still coming to say a equals to, because we already have a in our computer memory, it referenced that to find a 5. So we'll have something like a 5 here plus 60 to give us a 65. But the shorter way of doing that is using the compound operators. Compound operators works in this way. We have two operands on, we have like an operand and equal sign. So let's, coming here, we have a plus equals to 6. This simply tells it, a, take the value of a and add it to 6. That's why we get a 5 in it that we initially had, and then plus 6, we get an 11. So let's do that with a division. Let's go down here and say, let b equals to 52. And I come in later and I'm like, no, 52 is too much. Can you take away like 18? So I'll be like, b equals to b minus 18. And if I log the value of b, what do I get? I get 34, because 52 minus 18 is what? 34. Who has the time to type all this when what you can do is just say a minus equals to 18. It's like saying from the value of b that we currently have, subtract 18, and then assign it to the same value. So we get a 34. Fantastic. Let's try with something else. Let c equals to 6. Then I want to come and maybe I say, no, I don't like that multiple. So let's say multiply it by 3. So I'll be like c equals to c times 3. Let's log the value of c. What do we get? We get an 18. Who has time to do all this? We can come here and instead, let's just say, we don't want that, something short and sweet. We get an 18. So that is what you basically do. And let's try it if it will work with division. I'm not sure if it will work with that. Let d equals to 60. And then all of a sudden I'm like, d is too much. Maybe just divide them into multiples of 10 equals to d divided by 10. Let's log the value of d. What do we get? We get a 6. Okay, let's try a compound operator. Compound says we simply give it that operation and the equal sign. We get a 6. So that is a concise and straightforward way of manipulating your variables. Instead of having to go like d equals to d plus 60, use this shortcut to show you what needs to be done quickly and easy. Short lines of code. Remember, it's always about write short code that do what is expected. So instead of having all those 10 characters here, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doing the same thing. That is about increment operators. And then let's now move on to the math functions that we can meet. Okay. So in this, what we are going to do, let me show you what we are going to do about, give a minute, I help someone right about here. So let's do the math methods. We have what we call, sorry, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I thought I was breaking. Okay, let's continue. So we have what we call math.random. So let's say console log math.random. What do we get? We get a very unique value there. If you go again, just doing the same thing, let me just copy, Control C, Control V. What do we get? 0.2822. Let me remove that and take note of what we have here, 0.6250. If I remove this last one, still the first random changes. Let me run it again. It changes. Every time you run it, it changes. So what is that? What happens here, it's simply random give us some random value in the range of 0 and 1, okay? So that is what a random does. So our question is, what if you want to get a random number that is beyond the range of 0 and 1? Let's say you want a random number between 50 and 70. Random number between 2000 and 1000. How do you do that? Who has an idea of doing that? If you want to get a random number between 50 and 100. Now, here comes the LinkedIn voucher. Who knows how that can be done? Because usually a random number just gives you a 0 and a 1. So if I want to get a random number between 50 and 100, how do I go about that? Anyone? Okay, so Farah says multiply by number e.g. 900. Okay, we'll try that. Duffy, please unmute. Hello, Duffy, unmute.
Okay, I can try.
Yes, please.
Before the math random,
Okay.
use math flow, then math random.
Okay, so let's just do it together with you. We have a log. Then you say math dot flow.
Then after the bracket, the two braces after math random, then
okay.
you multiply by the, you said between
50 and 100.
I think you place times 100. Just
okay, so tell me, you have math.flow and the brackets. So should I write math.random inside here?
yeah.
Okay, and then I give it
times 100 after the braces after the math random. Yeah.
Times 100. Let's go. Is that it? Hello, is that it? Okay, so let's confirm that. We can run it about times. Let's just see what we get. 39. You see, that's wrong. So you see, we have 39 here. So that doesn't work. Okay, someone on the chat said, this is Farah. Multiply by the number you want, e.g. 900. Oh, that is what you all did. Labwest says, math floor. That is what you have done here. Okay. Nelly McKenna, raise your hand. What do you have?
Hey,
Let's go.
the previous person has just said what I wanted to say.
Which is not working, right? We all agree that it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not working.
Okay. Yeah, we have another trial from Margaret. Yes, Margaret.
Okay, first, I think because when we do math.random, okay, we did math.flow, right? Math.flow, then math.from whatever we have there will generate values between 0 and 100. So
this will be 0 and 100, right?
Yeah, my guess will be so that we can limit where the start is. We'll just do before the math.flow, we have maybe 50 plus 50 plus, and then math.random times is it times 50 times 51? Yeah, times 51.
Okay, go with me. I want you to go with me. So let's do this. We are logging, of course. Then you're saying we do 50. Let's go.
50 plus.
50 plus.
Then whatever we have there, math.flow into brackets.
Okay, this one.
Whatever. Yeah, the first
everything here.
Yeah, but you change the times 100 for it to be times. Is 100 inclusive?
Yeah.
Okay, if it is inclusive, then I think we'll have times 50. Because 50. Now, yeah, something like that.
Okay, we verified this right here. So let me just comment that out. 72. Okay. Someone is talking. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. 72, 84, 98, 62, 56, 96, 77. Last time, 77. Okay, now explain your solution to make sense to everyone who is in the call. Explain that.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure whether it should be 50 or 51 because I don't know whether the 50 is inclusive. But then, okay, we did not have the 50 plus, then that will mean we'll have, we want from, our values are supposed to be between 50 and 100, right? So if we did not have the 50 plus, then we will be having random values from 0 to 50. But now, the value,
amazing.
Yeah, the value we are getting, we want that number to start from, we want to start our numbers to start from 50. So 50 included, then whatever we get from that math.flow function. So if we get that a random number, we add to 50, we get 50. We get, if we get 2, we add to 50, we get 52. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So they say if it works, don't touch it. But I beg to touch this one. So what we are trying to find here, we are trying to find that number using the method random, okay? So this solution works, great. But it's not what we expect because here, you're already giving us a value which is not random. You see, you already give us 50. So from here, we expect that everything will be above 50 and below 100. So this is correct, but not the way to do it. Really correct, because we expect everything to go into random. So someone is talking. You want to give it a trial?
Yeah, I didn't hear the question very well. Yeah, I wanted to answer, but I didn't hear the part. Were you asking about how to get?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
saying maybe let's say we want to.
Okay, continue.
I see we have quite solutions from the chat, but please, I see Alphonse is right there. We have Nicole Wambua. We have Eric. We have Dominic. Fantastic. So Farah, the question was, math.random gives us only a random value between 0 and 1. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what do we do if we want to get a random value between 50 and 100?
So
now that is what we are trying to solve here.
So in that case, if you want to get a random number, first of all, math.random, it gives us decimal numbers between 0 and 1.
Between 0 and 1, okay.
So first we need to remove the decimal part, and we can use either math.flow or math.rank.
So which one should I use? Tell us.
Maybe math.rank.
Math.rank.
T-R-U-N-K.
Trunk, or to truncate, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we multiply by the range. You said between 50 and 100. So what you're gonna do is math.random will be multiplied by the maximum minus the minimum, which is maximum in this case is 100 and the minimum is 50. So we multiply math.random with the maximum
times
minus minimum,
which is 100 minus 50.
Then so we get 100. We add plus 1, so that because math.rank might give us maybe till 99, so we have to add plus 1.
Plus 1 here.
Yeah, like math.random. Then you multiply with to bracket a parenthesis. The maximum which is 100 minus the minimum which is 50. Then close the parenthesis plus 1.
Plus 1. That is already wrong, because we're getting a 47, which is not what we expect. So let's get from the chart. We have someone who has done it. So Nicole wants to give this an explanation. Nicole, I see your explanation, your answers on the chat is correct. Let me see, Nicole Wambua. Fantastic. 50 plus 1. Okay, Nicole, let's go. And then Alphonse was the first one to get it right. Let me see. Alphonse. Then Alphonse will take it.
Then you add plus minimum. The whole formula.
Plus minimum. So okay, 50.
I did this some time back.
So let's do it with Nicole. Nicole, let's go. I see we have a number of vouchers to be sent out. Okay, let's Nicole.
The lady who took us through the first one, I feel like she was right until after the asterisk, when she opened the brackets with 100. But we have the minus 51, because when we do minus 50, it gives us the range from 50 to 99, I believe. The adding 1 takes us all the way to 100. Yeah. So that the plus 1 is what makes the range inclusive of the
plus 1.
100. Yeah, the plus 1. So we do the 100 minus 51 instead of minus 50. Yeah.
Okay. So I agree with you. That is correct. But what I was against is, the moment you already have 50 before giving us the math.random.
Yeah.
That's like a shortcut to what we expect.
The 50 comes later.
That should come later. But for Margaret, it was coming before anything.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the correct. If you want to include 100, we need to add something like a 1. So we get 51 here. plus the minimum also is the 51. Now what happens is that this should work. So let me check let's check on the, how do we call it, on the chat, those who got it. Then I need to have your vouchers ready. So let's see. Let's start with Alphonse. Alphonse, what do you have here? Alphonse says math.flow, then a math.random times 100 minus 50 plus 1 plus 50. That is great. Okay. Nicole Ramboa, 100 random, 100 minus 50 plus 1 plus 50. Same with Alphonse. Okay. Then let's see Eric. How about console math.random? Yeah, Eric, but you're not sure. Yeah. Okay. Then we have Dominic. Dominic says console log math.random. Okay. So I want, guys, did you Google this or ChatGPT? Mko wengi? Hello. Let's do this. Did you guys do it in ChatGPT? Be honest, because I want to eliminate some of us. Okay, so let's do this. I'll start with Alphonse. Alphonse, are we here with you?
Yeah, hello.
Alphonse?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Here.
Yeah,
I can hear you. So I'm starting with you. Guys, please don't do a GPT anywhere. I want us to eliminate everyone one by one. So Alphonse, from what you've sent on the chat, write a function for that.
Yes. That's a function. Yeah.
Okay,
What are you
so
asking?
tell your solution on the chat for what I asked is there, right? Flow, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, write a function to get that.
I read the function.
Yeah, write the function solving the same thing that you sent on the chat.
Why should I write in the chat?
No, tell me as I type.
Oh, I tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's go quick.
Math.flow.
Bracket
math.random.
Random.
Function that curly brace.
Inside here.
Yeah, inside. Then the multiplication, that is asterisk.
Where? Here.
Outside.
Outside
where? After the function.
Inside here.
Yeah. Just go
inside.
Here. Outside.
Let's see. Here.
Just go back to the function. Just after the function. Don't put it outside. After the function, just put asterisk.
Like this.
Yeah, like that. Brackets 100 minus 50.
So just put there. Let's see. Nicole.
Yeah.
Right, that's the function for this. Right, the function for what you just said.
Should I write it in the chat?
Oh, you mentioned as I do it here. Just say as I type. So Alphonse, sorry, you are eliminated.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
So let me ask. The function, the first one that hiyo yenye tumefanya.
Function
this one for the 100 minus 50.
To get around between 50 and 100. Yeah.
Okay, so
don't type somewhere. Just
No, I'm not
let's
typing.
do
I'm
it.
looking at what I've written over here.
Okay, let's go.
So
Uh-huh.
I think it's hivyo tu venye nimeandika the math.flow
Uh-huh.
open brackets.
Okay. Okay, can you paste it? Okay, math.flow open bracket. Let's continue. Like the one you
Math.random. Ama?
wait, the one you have on the chat is what you are referring to.
Yeah,
Let me
Ama?
copy it.
Yes, please.
You mean this?
Okay, so I think your screen has just frozen on me. No, yeah, it's working. Yeah, that.
So that's your function, right?
Uh-huh.
Is that right? Okay. So fantastic. So let's go. Eric.
Hello.
Hello, Eric.
So,
I have that confidence. 20.
okay, console.log, then brackets, you put math.random.
Ni copy yako. Okay, so this is a function for finding the random value between 50 and 100.
So that's math.random. Then brackets. Then multiply by, you can add brackets, then 100 minus 50. Then add 50.
Okay.
Then at the end you can add the semicolon.
So this is your function, right?
Yeah. You can add
Eric.
those. Yeah.
I can add what?
The columns.
Okay, no problem. That is colon. Evo sawa. Then we have Dominic. Dominic, are you with us? Dominic? Dominic Ayuko. Okay, fine. So, so this was fantastic because everyone is limited here. I don't know we'll get the voucher, but I'll ensure everyone gets a voucher because we have all actually participated.
Did mine work?
Okay,
Hello.
all your solutions are okay, but they're not functions, right?
Oh,
That's
you
why I
want
asked you guys, did
function?
you copy somewhere?
No. I did.
I expected something like
I can explain how mine works.
Function. You see what I mean?
Hello.
Right? Hello?
Yeah, I was saying I could explain how mine works, and I think it will work. Maybe you're writing it, maybe incorrect. So mine was about this one I was telling you about, maximum and minimum. So this is how it works. First of all, I already said you have to first of remove the decimal part because math.random gets you between 0 to 1. So you use, let's say, math.flow because that's what everyone is familiar with. So math.flow, then math.random, you multiply with. I said we have to use the range. So for every range, like if it's between 5 to 10, if it's between 1,000 to 2,000, there is the maximum number and there is the minimum number.
Okay.
So if it's like between 5 to 10, 10 is the maximum and 5 is the minimum. It can't be outside that range.
Okay.
So I said you multiply math.random with into a parenthesis maximum minus minimum, and then I said we add 1 plus 1 like 2 so that we get the desired number. Like for example, if you want to get a number between 0 to 5, you have to like add plus 1 to get 5 also, so that math.flow doesn't.
Okay.
I think you can understand what I mean.
Yeah, I mean what you understand.
Yeah,
I understand what you mean.
where
I mean.
the plus one comes from.
Okay.
So I said
Okay.
math.random, you multiply with into parentheses maximum minus minimum,
Yeah.
then you add minimum.
Uh-huh.
So what do you
Okay,
get in
I
that?
see.
So let me explain how that would work.
Let's do let me do that with you together, then we get to Nicole. Nicole has raised her hand. So just a minute,
Okay.
let me comment out my function. So this was your solution, right?
Yeah. So math.random, when you multiply with maximum times minimum, what do you get there? You get a number between 0 to maximum minus minimum.
Okay.
Then when you add plus min, that means that you are adding min to both sides of the equation. That is on the 0 part and on the maximum minus minimum part.
Okay.
So when you add maximum minus minimum plus minimum, what do you get there? The minimum, they cancel each other.
Okay.
So only maximum remains in the parentheses. And you add minimum on the outside, which is 0. So what you get there, minimum. So the range will be from minimum to maximum.
Let's see, does it work? Is this what you had?
Works.
Let's see. This is what you have on the chart. This is what you have on the chart. Math.random. So let me just do this math.random. Then 100 minus 50 plus 1. So there's one missing. There's one extra here. So what should happen here? Should I enclose this? Let me see if it will work your way. That way.
Or maybe you can use a function. Can you use a function?
You something like this, right?
Yeah. I was saying, can we use a function to make the work easier?
No, it's still okay. Look at here. This was your solution. You see what we get? A 34.
Can I see your screen? My side, my black.
You can't see? I know. Okay. Now
your screen.
Okay. Farah, hold it there. I think we can get back to this towards the end of the meeting. Then we can actually look at it. So let me just comment it out and say, should do. Yeah. So Nicole, you raised your hand. Nicole, please.
Yes. Okay. I'd like to revisit my answer.
Okay.
Please. So function get random number.
Oh, I mean, it's already done. We already did it here.
You finished.
It's already done.
Sure.
Yeah. So what we were testing here, I said, give me a function. So all the implementations were correct. I mean, you see, we had like 7 correct responses in the chat. So I wanted to like eliminate to see who really knew what he was doing, he or she was doing. Then I said, can we write a function for that? Then go Nicole didn't write a function. Alphonse, no function. Dominic, no function. Your implementations are correct actually, but I was specific on, okay. If this is not ChatGPT, show me a function. Are we all together until that point? Hey guys, do we agree or we all the voucher?
Yes.
So yeah, the point is, yeah, you're on the same page. So basically what happened is that I wanted to see something like function, get this, or if you're using the arrow function, you gave me that. But all the same, guys, we've done a good job here. Everyone was contributed, even those who didn't get it right. This is amazing. And this is what I want my events to be like, everyone to contribute, not me talking all time and again. So your implementations are correct. I'm glad that you all can explain your approach, your thinking can be explained so that you can understand. So what you could have done is very simple. Writing a function from a solution is quite easy. Let me just comment this out. So you see what happens here. I have, okay, a function, they just give it a value. And since look at what you have here. A good example is this implementation for Eric. Eric says math.random times 100 minus 50. We have two distinct values here, 100 and 50. 100 is my max, 50 is my minimum, okay? So I simply take this, 50 and 100, and abstract them as parameters. So I come here and say max and min as parameters, and that is what I use inside my function block. And now when I come to call the function, what do we get? Let me just console this out too. We get random value of between, actually this should be 100 and 50. Still the same, 50, 100, 150, still okay. So 150. So which means the next time I ask you a different question, like, okay, give me between 17 and 24. I'll be like 24 and 17. What do we get? An 18. So basically I wanted you who gave me the answers to abstract it into a function to make it reusable, okay? So next time we can have like different values, but we use the same function. So thank you guys for contributing. I really love what you've done here. And yeah, that's really amazing. So that was more of in terms of random. And of course, from here, we have another thing that was done here. Someone mentioned the term floor. So we have floor. So math.floor does what? Math.floor.
Math.floor.
Let's say let's say 2.5. It's a
round to the, let's say, lowest, maybe downwards
to the lowest int, right? If you go, that's for the math.floor. Let's do another math for the floor. Let's see, Control C, Control V. Then instead of 2.5, let's do a negative. What do we get? A negative 3. Okay, let's do another one. Math.floor of 25. What do we get? A 25, because it has no fraction bit. So basically, it's more of we're finding the lowest. If you have a fraction or floating point value here, we simply take the 2.5, the lowest, the minimum integer that we have there. If it's a negative, remember it's a negative. We're going the lowest one. We can't come 2 because 2 is like 2 is greater than 2.5. Negative 2 is greater than 2.5. So we go to a lower value, which is negative 3. 25, it remains the same. Also, we have what we call math.ceiling. So let's go to log of math.ceil or the ceiling of 2.5. What do we get? A 3. Of negative 2.5, let's go with that. Of negative 2.5, we get a negative 2. Now you see the difference. This was a 3, this was a 2, because we're looking for something that's on top. 2 is on top of negative 2 is on top of negative 2.5. That is what you have. Going forward, what else do we need to maybe check on? We've checked on round. We can now do truncate. Of course, Frank already introduced that. Let's do truncate. Console.log math.truncate. Let's say 52.3 point. A number of things there. So what do we get? 523. So truncate, what does it do? Let's do another example to understand. Let's do a negative instead. So if you truncate 523.455555 blah that, we get 523. If you truncate negative 523, the same value, you get negative 523. So truncate simply removes the fraction part. You are left with the absolute integer that you have there. Okay, moving on, we can look into something else. Can we touch on loops real quick, if you allow me? Okay, guys. If you allow me, can we touch on loops real quick?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. So let's touch on loops real quick. I know I've eaten a lot of your time, yet it's a weekend. So let's do loops. So loops are basically used to iterate through a certain values until a condition is met, or also they are used to like with some conditions to check if a condition is met. So let's start with a for loop. A for loop. So a for loop, it's used to iterate through values. So let's go to the structure. For let's a equals to 0, a is less than 20, then a plus plus. Then what I want to do during the loop is log, then say the value of a then I have here an a. Fantastic. So let's check what happens. Here we have a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5. So what happens is that a loop simply iterates through a value. For example, we have the first initialization, then we have the condition, and then we have the modifier. So it first checks. At first, the value of a is 0, and the condition is a should be less than 20. In this case, it's true because it is less than 20. And then we have a postfix increment. So it first uses the value of a, which is 0. So if it comes here, it will do a 0. That is why we have our log here to be 0. You see, we have 0 here. Then it increments that. Actually, we should have, it increments that 0. And now we have 1. After being used, now our a is 1. 1 is less than 20. That way, print 1 until a condition is met where we have 19. So if we go 19, increment it again, what do we get? We get a 20. But 20 is not less than 20. Unless we say something less than or equals to 20, then we expect to print a 20 included there. Fantastic. So at the same time, we can use a for loop in arrays. Let's say, let array equals to, let's say, homo, let's go, gentle, let's go, let's say aerial. So for loop can still be used here. So how do we do that? We say for let I equals to 0. Then what's the condition? I'm just doing this real quick. I is less than array dot length. I mean length. Let me give it a different name. Let's say araya. And then we have also I plus plus. Then inside that, what I want to do is to log the value of array at position I. You see how I do it? So it goes through the array one by one and prints the value at that index. Remember, arrays are indexed for 0, 1, 2. So the value of our array at index 0 is homo. Then index 1 is gentle, index 2 is aerial. But the reason why we use array.length is because the length of this array is 3. Now, it means if we reach at index 2, it's now false. We don't print anything. That is why we have homo, gentle, and aerial. But we could do something like maybe let I equals to 1. Then for us to do that, to include, you see, we have gentle and aerial only. So we can say less than or equals to array.length. So what do we have here? Let I equals to 1. Then it does what? It prints array starts at 1. So it starts at 1. 1 is gentle, you see. Then we have at 2, we have aerial. Then it goes to 3. But now at index 3 in our array, there's nothing. That is why we get undefined. So just find a way of playing with what you have there. That's why it's always a 0. If it's for an array, then you remove the equal sign and have that to confine you in the length of that array. Then we have something called for of. So this one is basically used in when working with iterables, for example, arrays Okay, so for this case, we could check like the same thing that we have here. We say for let x of araya. Then what do we do? Log x. What do we get? Homo, gentle, and aerial, the same thing. And then we have something, for example, if you have an array, still the same, you can use, let's say you have another array, let's say here, instead of aerial, we have another gentle here. Control C. So you see we have two duplicates here. We have gentle and gentle. Now for of can still be used in a set of array that is a set. So how do we do that when using what we call a set? So let's say this is what we have. Let me just come down here. And we only want to iterate through the unique. Remember, a set has only unique values. So how are we going to do that? How we are going to do that is to say, let new array equals to new set. And what's the set that you're working with here? We are working with araya. Okay. Then now we can come and say for let's detergent of new array, and then log that. You see, what do we get here? Gentle, aerial. No, this is a problem. Oh, sorry. I need to remove this. Also coming on top here, I need to remove something else. Remove this. You see what we get? We get homo, gentle, and aerial. Homo, gentle, aerial. Coming here, it finds gentle again, but that will invalidate what we call a set. A set contains unique values. And then going forward, we have a while loop. A while loop. So a while loop is basically to tell it do something until the condition is false. For example, if we say, let's have a variable, let age equals to 56. Then I'm like, well, my age is still less than 56. I want you to do something. So what we will do, we say while, let's say it's I. While I, just a minute. While age, because we're working with the age, while age is less than what any number, let's say 89. What do I want to do? I want to log that value. I want to log age, and then after logging age, I want to like increment that age. So I'll say like age plus plus. So what happens here? It starts with 56. So it checks age 56. Is 56 less than 89? Correct. Log the age. Then increment what you have, 56 to go to 57. But it does that coming down until we get 88. Going to 89, this condition is false, so it won't execute. So what we need to know about while loop is used to check for a condition, and as long as it's true, a statement inside here will be executed. Okay, then going forward, we have something we call a do while loop. So a do while loop will be same as a while, but at least one statement will be executed no matter the condition. So let's say we have something like let var I equals to something, then we do something, and then so let's say let v equals to 10. Then what are we going to do here? We are doing a do while. Do log a value of let's say log the value of v. Okay, and then going forward, we now have a while v is is what? Is less than, how do you call it? Let's say V is less than 20. Let me delete something here. Let me comment out what we have here. Okay, so here what we have is we have 10 printed. So let's say console log the value of V. So that's a minute. Of V. Click this. Value of V. Then V plus plus. It should be a V plus plus. Just a minute. I confirm where we're getting it wrong. A minute. Do while should execute at least once. Do while should execute at least once. So let's check what the problem is. Oh, okay. Actually, it comes here. Let's have it there. The statement should be here. Wait a minute. Okay. Control X. Then we have that right there. Save on that. Fantastic. So let's do this. Let V equals to 10. Now, see what happens. Do console log V. So V will be 10. Then after that, increment it. We get 11. So continue with that until we have what V is less than 20. So you see the problem here. With a do while, we first at least print the value of V to be 10. Then we increment it 11 until it's less than 20, we get 19. What's the difference between a while? For example, if I come to a while loop, it checks it from the onset. So if V is less than 20, suppose I have 21. Let's see what we have on the console to print this. Look at this, 21. But the condition is that V should be less than 20. But why are we printing 21? Because first, we want to do what we have there. At least a condition is printed, it executes once before checking the condition. But if it is only a while, let me show you what a while could have done. We'll have something like this. Let's say let j equals to 21. Then I'll come and say while j is less than 21, what do we do? Log j. To make it clear, let me do the value of j. Then we have j right there. You see what happens? This is not executed because j is 21, which means this is false. But in the do while, it's actually executed because the do while tells it at least execute it once. Then now check the conditions. So what do we do? First console the value of v, which is 21, and then go ahead and then now check the conditions as you increment. So that's how they do while differs from the while loop. And then which one do we have again? That's to finish up. Pretty much about that. And then I want us to confirm something here with you guys. This is a brainstorming one as we wrap up. Now open your mic. So if we have true plus 1, what do we expect to get? True plus 1, what do we get? If we have a false plus 5, what do we get? If we have a log of undefined plus 1, what do you get? If you have false plus bar. What do you get? And lastly, if you have what we call something like a true plus 1, what is your expectation from here? Anyone? As we this is the last thing we are doing. Yes, Nelly. Which one do you tackle? Yes, Nelly. Answer one.
I'll take the first one. Console.log
Okay.
2 plus 1. It's supposed to give you 6. No, true plus 1. It will give you 2 because true interpreted for number, I think, is 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, I guess.
Okay, fantastic. That is correct. Okay, Nicole, you are second. Nicole, let's go. Nicole, are you there? Okay, Nicole isn't there. Let's go with Margaret.
Okay, thank you. So true, I can tackle the first. I can tackle the first one and the second one. So for true and false, they are Boolean, and true in digital logics, true is 1, false is 0. So if true is 1 and then 1 plus 1, it will definitely give you 2. False is 0, so 0 plus will give you 5. Yeah.
5. Okay. Okay, Nicole, let's go.
I'm sorry, my hand was off by mistake. I'm not ready.
Okay, okay. Okay, Paul. Paul. Oh, we have people raising their hands. Okay, who's there? Dominic, take it over.
Okay, so I'll tackle the fourth one.
Okay.
The fourth one is false plus the string bar. So false is interpreted as, yeah, false is interpreted as 0, and bar is a string, so it will be a concatenation of 0 bar. Yeah,
0 and bar. Okay, we'll see that. Let me comment that out. Okay, then we have Eric. Eric, please.
I'll take the last one.
Okay.
So true is a Boolean, and one comes like a string, so the result will be true 1.
True 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody's taking number the third one. Okay. We have who else? Okay. Who else do we have? Undefined plus 1. Okay, I'll take that. That's a number. Okay, last one. Someone take this. Null plus null. Anyone? Null plus null, you get a 0.
Hello.
Then we have, oh, okay, someone is here. Please talk.
Can I trade the one for undefined?
Okay.
It will return not a number because undefined, it's not given a value. So the addition will not,
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I've done this so that you can brainstorm about this. This is very important, especially when you'll be building applications where you have a null plus a null, a true plus a 1, undefined plus a 1, true plus false. That is something that you need to check on. Also, something that you need to brainstorm on is comparisons, where you have, let me just do it quick. And today I've taken a lot of your time. If you have like something like that, equals to, no, just not a strict one, just a comparison, equals to 0. What do you get? Okay, check on that. You have something like that, and then you have a 0 and a 0. Let's say a 0 and a 0. You need to know what is the outcome. If you have false equals to 0, what's the outcome? If you have false equals to, yeah, is equivalent to 0, checking against that. If you have strict comparisons like false is not equals to 0, what do you get? So go check on this. These are very important for you to check on. And then I think that's it for today. Unless there's someone having a concern or anything, you can maybe now make it known to us. So yeah. Oh, there's something we need to check here. Number 196, false plus bar. Let's check what we get. False bar. So go check on that. Go check on that. Why it's a false bar and not a 0 plus a bar. Yes, Margaret?
Okay, thank you. So I think I still have a question concerning increment and decrement.
Okay.
On the prefix increment.
Okay.
If you're going to get the same value you assign, okay, let's say we have the value of A is 5 and the value of the value of A is 5 and then the value of B is plus A. You still get
less than 1 equals to 5, and then let
num2 equals to plus num.
Num2 equals to plus num.
Yeah. So the value of num2 will definitely be 5, right?
The value of num2 will be 6, I suppose.
6.
Let's check. Yeah, 6.
Okay, I think I did something wrong here because because my question was, then what will be the value of if we did num plus plus?
Num plus plus.
Yeah.
Should be 5.
Okay.
Let's check. Let's check. It's a 5.
Yeah. So why then should I
now?
Okay, where will I use if I'm using a loop, in which situation do I need to use num plus plus and in which situation do I need to use plus num, or will both of them give me the same values? Because I've tried with the sample data and I'm getting the same when I use them in a loop.
You've tried on VS Code?
Yeah.
Can you copy the code on the chat so that you can evaluate?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, please. Yeah, so while she's doing that, I just think of this way to help you master this. We have post and pre. Anything post happens after. Pre happens before. So initially, okay, let's use what we have here. This is a post increment. So a post is like I'm telling you, first go to the hospital and then get the results after you're from the hospital. So first used 5, and then after using it, then what we assign the next value, now increase it to a 6. If I come here and let's say num plus num, first I encounter the plus, which means it is 5. Okay, first increase it to 6, and that's the new value of num2. But if it's a plus after, that is like first used 5, after using it, increment. Oh, okay, I've got the chart, so let me pick it up from the charts. Control-C, let's paste that here. This is what you have, right? Let's close the terminal to get to what we have. Now, we want to get the correct answers for this before looking at the terminal. So for let A is equal to 0, A is less than 10, and then we have a pre-increment, right? So let's check. Console log, the value of A is blah A. I want us to do this together. So A is 0, then A is less than 10, which is true. Plus A. So 0, it was 0. But before I use it, I should increment it. So we get a 1. So a 1. Then increment a 2. Then a 3. Then a 4. a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, and a 9. So we expect to get Control X, paste here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is what we console. I mean, from my understanding. So let's check what we have. We get a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, and a 9. That is weird. That is actually weird.
No, that is
supposed to start with a 1. A value of a is black. Okay, let's do something. Okay. Sorry guys, network issue. Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sure. Sorry, that was internet issue. I'm having a lot of internet connection issues today. So let's go over that once more. Let me share my screen. I'm sorry for that. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let's finish up on this. Tata, can I let you guys go? Oh, fantastic. So what we expect here, let's come down here. Here's where we are. Okay, I still have something running on top here. Let me just get this away. Okay. Anything to do with logging, I need to get rid of that. Let's finish up on this. Yeah, this is where we are. So let's see. For let A equals to 0, A is less than 10, and then we have A plus plus, and we expect to console that. So where we have console log, the value of A is A. Okay, I get the point here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to expect here is 0, 1. This is actually correct. Everything is correct there. So let's come when we switch that. Control X, Control V. What do we have? Okay, let me restart the session. Okay. We get a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. Yo, guys, this is confusing. I have no idea why we're getting something funny like this. So,
okay. Can I try to explain what is happening?
Yeah, can you try?
Okay, so how this loop works, it's like we're starting, okay, from the condition we have let a is equals to 0, a is less than 10. Then I'm not sure about okay, I'll explain a plus plus because I wanted you to clarify on the plus plus a end. But why we are starting from 0 is because like our initial value of a is 0. So how this loop will work, it will first it will first initialize a to 0, and then it checks whether that is less than 10. But then we are not incrementing first. So what we do is we print the value, like we print now our value of a is 0. Then what happens later is we increment. So 0 plus 1. The value of a becomes 1. So we do this now. We are not reinitializing. So we are, the next thing we are doing is we are comparing whether now our value is 1. So is 1 less than 10? That is true. So it prints 1, then it increments. So 1 plus 1, it gets 2. So we do that until we get to let's move to 8. So assuming our value of a is 8. So already we are done with the initialization part. So once we are done with initialization, we don't go back there. So the value of a is 8. So is 8 less than 10? That is true. So it prints, then it increments to 9. So is 9 less than 10? That's true. It prints, then it increments to 10. Is 10 less than 10? That's false. So the whole loop, we break out of the loop. So that is why we are getting 0 to 9. We are not initializing, then checking the condition, then incrementing. No, we are initializing, checking the condition, printing, then incrementing.
Okay, so let's see something here. What do we have? Because I've prompted 8 on my GPT, and it's an explanation that we get. Let's see. Okay, let me share that. Okay. Fantastic. So we have here, let's analyze the for loop to determine the output. So we have the increment first, the prefix. So let's see, initialization, let a equals to 0. The condition is a is less than 10. Before each iteration, the condition a less than 10 is checked. If true, the loop body executes. If false, the loop ends. Then increment. After the loop body executes, plus plus a increments a before the next condition check. And then when we have the prefix increment of a increments the value of a by 1 in place. So let's check the body. The value of a is thus. The statement prints the value of a during each iteration. So let's check. The loop starts with a equals to 0 and continues incrementing a by 1 until a reaches 10. However, since the condition a is less than 10 stops the loop when a is not less than 10, the loop executes a equals to 0 through a is equals to 9. So that is what we have here. Then let's check the notes. The increment operator works similarly to the prefix and the postfix. In this context, because the increment happens after loop body execution, the loop conditions less than 10 ensures that the last value printed is 9. So the point of interest is here. Okay, let's check. It's a point of interest where if true, the loop's body executes. If false, the loop ends. So the key takeaway here is that in each condition, be it a prefix, be it a suffix, this is equal to 0, this is the check. So it first prints what we have here. Irrespective whether it is prefix, or it is suffix or postfix, it first prints the body, then it comes here. So this one really matters when it comes to issues with arithmetic operations. So let's also check what we get with the postfix, because I gave it prefix and the postfix. Now, this loop is nearly identical in behavior to the previous one, except the increment operation. Let's break it down. That is what we have. The initialization equal to 0 condition. Now, before each iteration, the condition a less than 10 is checked. If true, the loop's body executes. If false, the loop ends. More or less the same thing. So basically what happens is what I've just mentioned. It will always, this is what prints first. It prints the value of this one first, and we get a 0, whether it's a prefix or a postfix. Yeah, so I think that was a nice question, because for me, I was like, we get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4 until 9, but it seems to be very different. We first get the value itself, which is a 0, then we take it forward. I think that's it for that question. Margaret, I think that is okay, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for that question. I don't know what could have happened if I was in an interview and I'm asked that question. That was the end of me. So, any other question or concern from anyone? Or a comment? Anyone, please, anyone? There's no question. Oh, Margaret has something to say. Yes, Margaret.
Mine's not a question, it's just a comment. I
Okay.
just wanted to thank everyone who has stayed up this late. I know it's 10 and people are just here learning. So it's a nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, as the host, I apologize for ruining your weekend with JavaScript, guys. I didn't mean to eat much of your time. But guess what? JavaScript is funny and hard. Yeah, so, yeah, Dominic, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At what point does one decide it's enough of JavaScript and actually get into learning a framework, a JS framework?
Okay. That question is personal but I will tell you, once we touch on arrays and objects, you should be good enough to start working with frameworks. Also, you don't need to know JavaScript to start building with frameworks. But if you start with JavaScript, it will help you understand concepts on your quite easily and fast. Either way, you can still jump into frameworks, but trust me, you will be iterating between React, coming back to JavaScript, React, JavaScript, because there are concepts that you won't understand in the framework, either Vue or React. But when you come back to JavaScript, you find that they are the basic fundamentals that you need to know before moving to framework. But I will tell you, once right now you know loops, if you can work on arrays, objects, and functions, and classes, you're good to go. You can start learning any framework. Yeah. I think that answers your question. Yeah. Farah, you have a question?
No, I just want to appreciate you for that, for taking us and through the whole class and the students for being attentive.
Oh yeah, we appreciate. I really appreciate. Yeah. So guys, I'm really hoping if we can work on classes, functions, arrays, and objects next week. If you guys can maybe allow me, we have one session before Saturday. That could be great. So that in our 5th session, we just start on frameworks. But you'll decide on that. If you could have one in the course of the week, and then on Saturday, we finish up on the core JavaScript that is needed for frameworks, that will be great. But you let me know if that works for you. There being any other question, I think our meeting for today is successful. And we look forward to having you in the next meetup. Also, once I get the LinkedIn vouchers, today was the most amazing session because I love when people participate. So I'm going to ensure that I get the vouchers ready and everyone will get. Maybe someone will get before you, but all those participated, I will get. So what you do, if you are actively participating, just send me a DM with the name that you used to join this meeting. Don't send me the different name. Send me the name that you used during this meeting. For example, if it's Nicole, send Nicole Wambua the way it is. If it is Eric or Farah, the way it is, send it that way so that I have you in a list of those who are supposed to be getting LinkedIn vouchers. Yeah, so thank you all for coming to this session. The next session should be the most interesting one because we're going to start writing functions, classes, where we are going to treat everything as an object, be it a man, be it an animal, everything will be treated as an object. Then you're going to work on arrays and objects and string manipulation. Once that is done, guys will vote whether you want to pick on React or Vue and then Express. Then we are going to work on projects collaboratively. We'll have a common repository. We open source it, then everyone can contribute in that project where we build what we learn and learn what we build. So thank you guys for coming. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the weekend, and see you all in the next meetup. The recording will be available before midnight. So thank you all. If there's no question, we can leave at our own pleasure.